All right. Hey guys, we're going to talk about your final presentation. And so far you've gotten a big giant piece of paper probably that looks like this. And this is where we're going to complete our final presentation. Okay. Sometimes it's just easier to have things on paper. If you are virtual, if you are online, I have added this to Google Classroom. In both of your classes, if you hit classwork, it'll say final project, playing with forces. The one on Summit looks a little bit different. So make sure you're doing the one on Google Classroom for me. All right. And so when we're looking at this final presentation, and today our main focus is to finish these three parts. Okay, Newton's first law, Newton's second law, and Newton's third law. Okay, now we've done a lot of this in your checkpoints already. And so we're going to use that to help us answer our final presentation. Okay. All right, so when we're talking about Newton's first law, if we go into Summit here, okay, you can see that I'm in checkpoint 2, which is all about Newton's first law. Okay, all about Newton's first law. You're going to see that I've given you a score. Okay, and it says what you need to get to mastery, what it needs for progressing, what you need for limited, what you need for not yet. And then down here at the bottom, it says your score. And then it probably has a description of why you got what your score. Okay, so like for this case, this is my mock student view. I got a limited. Okay, which means student describes Newton's first law but does not accurately relate it to the game or to the law, or only partially relates it. This is what a lot of you get because you don't explain it fully. You assume that I know what you're talking about. So one way we can tie it back to that law is using key vocabulary and making sure you explain in detail why it proves the law. And you might be thinking, what is this key vocabulary you're talking of? Okay, well, when we just go up to the law, okay, and this is Newton's first law, I have my look for words up here. Okay, Newton's first law says an object in motion will stay in motion. An object at rest will stay at rest unless acted on by an unbalanced force. Okay, so in your whatever part of the game you chose, you can tell me about motion or rest. You don't necessarily have to do both to get full points, but then you'll need to tell me like what is the unbalanced force that causes that motion. So if you come down, this person scored a limited, okay? And so like in Broomball, like the game we did in class, what action or event in the game demonstrates Newton's first law? The part of Broomball that shows Newton's first law is the cones, okay? I restated my answer, and then down here, you did the evidence portion, but I'm gonna focus here on the reasoning because I want you to pay attention. Because I gave you notes at the top, but then if you pay attention, some of you also have notes down here, okay? So it says, what is Newton's first law? Newton's first law says that an object will keep doing what it's doing unless acted on by an unbalanced force. Okay, I kind of gave you the fancy definition earlier and then summarized it here. And then how is this action showing Newton's first law? This happens in Broomball because the cones will keep doing the same thing. Okay, you'll notice that my description is very weak here. I didn't go into very much detail. So it says, please use key vocabulary. So I want to make sure I talk about balanced and unbalanced. I'm going to talk about forces. And down here it says, what is the unbalanced force that is going to change it? Okay. Instead of saying the same thing, tell me what they're doing. Are going to stay in the same spot, staying at rest. That's going to give me that key vocabulary until something moves it. Okay. So make sure you're coming back in here and using these notes to help you. Okay. Because when we come to our final presentation, you have to do the same thing about Newton's 3 laws. Okay. So explain how part of your game proves Newton's blank law. Okay, you'll give me a claim and you'll explain it by using the key vocabulary. So in Newton's first law, what part of your game shows me Newton's first law? And then explain it by using key vocabulary. Now, I said to make sure you use the claim because, you know, we want to be good writers and we want to make sure that the reader knows we're talking about Newton's first law. It also helps you catch mistakes too. So you're going to do the same thing for all 3 of Newton's laws. Okay, you have feedback on your checkpoints in Google or on Summit. You can use those to help you. Okay, I don't need you to resubmit those checkpoints because I'm going to grade them here. So make sure that you look at my feedback, you check it, and you work on these 3 for me. Now, if you get finished with that, you can work on your force diagrams. Some of you have left notes on those, and the sub should be able to get you those if you need it, those papers, and just describe those force and those free body diagrams. Now, down here for your caption, that part's kind of new. So on that caption on checkpoint 5, so let me get to checkpoint 5 so you can look at that real quick. Okay, checkpoint 5 looks like this. On the back, on the back of your paper, it says what's happening in this model and what are the forces acting in this model. Okay, so you drew your pictures, and that's what I gave you notes on. And then you're going to kind of combine what's happening and what are the forces. And that's going to be in the caption. So I might say that, like, in broom ball, what's happening is that I hit the ball with the broom. Okay, so my caption would say, I hit the ball with the broom. The current forces on it are gravity pushes down on it, the normal force pushes up on it. I'm going to explain what's happening in the picture or in the model. Well, I cannot talk. And the forces. So you're going to kind of combine these two together. And that's kind of what you're doing for that final piece of your presentation. That's your caption right here. Okay. Make sure you are very, very, very neat on your pictures. Make sure you're neat in your handwriting so I can read them. And good luck.